did you know the surfing world, the elite surfing characters like Mick Fanning and Steph Gilmore before you started training them, or did they?
Yeah,
come
for
to you?
sure. Yeah, I did. I met Mick in I think it was 2007, just after he won his first world title, and I'd been training Pat Rafter for a while with the breathing program for a couple of years, and I met Mick's coach, Phil Mack, and he introduced me to him. And then I sent an email to Mick and said, hey, I got this breathing thing that might be worthwhile having a look at. And then we just got together and trained with that. And then that evolved into training him physically in the gym and doing all this conditioning side of things. And that then led on to Steph. Steph sort of heard about it, and it all kind of worked from there. That was 2007, 2008.
Wow. And did they become world champions in your time?
Yeah, Mick got a second world title in 2009. And
boom.
Then, yeah.
That was you.
No, it wasn't.
That was you. You hear that, Mick?
It's Quickie Pro time. 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 It's Quickie Pro time.
In the worlds before Monkey, primal chaos reigned.
G'day, viewers. Welcome to the Quickie Pro edition of Gold Coast First True Crack podcast show. Brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill-out drink. Sit back, relax, and soak in the March Gold Coast sun. Even though it's raining, some big news, big people in town. Slater, Mick Fanning, Parko, John, Davo, everyone's here. Now I'm waffling on. Great episode today. I bring you Baldwin. Oh, man, I wish I did more study on before I interviewed him today, because as he was speaking, I'm going, oh my God. He's Mick Fanning's coach. Oh my God, he's like training like everyone. He's been everywhere, lived everywhere. So much more than what I thought. I guess he isn't too much online, so it wasn't until I got on Facebook that I realised that he was just with Luke Rockhold, the American MMA fighter, and all sorts of stuff. So seriously, as you listen to this, click on Equalize with a Z, Equalize Training Centre's Facebook page. I guess that's where most of it is. But anyway, enough of this, Drew. It's time for you to go home. I'm going to put this together. Here we go. Are you there, champion? Oh, I want it up, mate. I don't know about you. Yeah, well, I've been running around in front of that hot machine downstairs.
Super.
How you feeling?
Good.
Baldwin. Is that the way I say it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's it.
Yeah. Great name.
Thank you.
From Breathe.
Breath Enhancement Training, Equalize Training Company.
And where'd you get the name Nam from?
How long have we got?
Yeah, plenty of time. Are you kidding me?
Oh, look.
Shortened name?
Yes, Southwest Africa.
Oh, yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
That's it. Okay. Well, you're running from the law?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, no.
No? Okay.
All good.
Oh, gee, come on. The reason why I ask is my real name's Andrew and it's Drew.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like a Drew.
A Drew.
Well, an Andrew.
Yeah, suits you, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
Fast name, one syllable, there we go.
Easy. Same with Nam.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know what? I was watching your a bunch of your videos last night on YouTube, and man, I've actually been stressed out about you since coming here, because when I first started this podcast show 18 months ago, Carl did the same program you probably know of, Fight Like a Pro.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. Well, I had 2 fights in that. The first fight, you sign up for, you do 10 weeks of boxing every day. And the second in the very next thing, I was asked to fight one of the other guys in the club. So what I'm getting at here is when I first started this podcast show, I felt great.
Yeah.
I was constantly training and doing good stuff, and felt like from listening to your videos last night, it is and the way you describe breath technique and anxiety, right? Well, I feel now it's 18 months later that I'm back into being overly anxious. I virtually lost my mind this morning, knowing that you were coming, and the machine downstairs where I work here busted up a bit.
Yeah.
And so please.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it, anxiety? It's I believe that a big part of it is just your body's way of telling you to breathe better. Because where do you get anxious? In your diaphragm area, which is where we're meant to breathe from. So the more perceived stress that we're under, the more that the body will try and self-regulate. But what we tend to do is then go to our head and get lost in the thoughts of what we're anxious about, and that then boosts the activation of your limbic brain, your emotional brain, which then takes over into fight or flight. But what's the antidote? What's the only natural antidote? Well, I believe the first part is to breathe better, because when we breathe using the right muscles, we oxygenate. And what does your brain really want? Oxygen, bit of water, bit of sugar. And when we get that foundation right, then we can think clearer. And therefore we can stay on task and get the things done that need to be done without letting the monkey brain take over.
Exactly.
So you get anxious, just breathe better. Take a couple of breaths.
Well, only half an hour ago is when I was explaining to Carlos over here from Carlos Creative my stress. I was going, man, look at me. I'm just fired up, and I'm about to meet a guy who is the complete opposite. And I actually had to go, okay, calm down, breathe out.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how you have to consciously think like that to make it actually happen in your body. And
and then let go of the thinking.
Yeah.
And then I always say to people, look, it's normal for you to get anxious from time to time, and in fact expect it, and then go through a form of accepting it, but then just tidy it up. Yeah. Keep it neat.
It made me, before I did Fight Like a Pro there, I was quite unhealthy, didn't have any real sport I was in at the time.
Yep. Or
any just one of those things. Just work, just like most Australians, I guess. You have your job and you work at it.
Mm.
And then the first time we actually had to do sparring, every single one of us just completely exhausted after 20 seconds.
Mm.
So I remember thinking, wow, it's like if I grab a mate. I'm no great surfer, by the way, but if I grab a mate who hasn't surfed before and you put him in the ocean, they're stuffed after 20 paddles.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah,
just
the
tension.
Same thought.
Yeah. So when we go into that fight or flight, which is sparring, will create that pretty quickly. You're allowing part of you to take over that really is trying to, in some ways, just destroy what's in front of you because it's so threatening, or to run away. So imagine that thought process turning into chemistry, turning into heart rate. You're going to be pretty puffed. Yeah. So then it's about learning to self-regulate through simple ways.
Hey, you would know about Wim Hof. Have you heard about that?
Wim Hof.
Wim.
Yeah.
Wim. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you know much about his technique to explain it? Because he's in the fight or flight. That's what is. Am I correct?
Yeah. So breathing is a very good way of stimulating that fight or flight response. Sympathetic. We call it sympathetic. And what he's done through his lifetime is discovered that when through breathing you activate that sympathetic response, you start to trigger off massive immune response. In other words, he's been under massive tests where they've injected him with specific viruses that would normally knock a person out completely, and through his breathing and methods, his immune system has kicked into gear. He's activated his own immune system that's destroyed that virus in a matter of moments, and scientists are going, what the hell? Yeah. But how cool is that this guy, he's an eccentric, right? He's an extremist, but he's now put out there that something as simple as your breathing can have such a profound effect on your health, the way you think, the way you feel, how you relate to cold. I do ice baths every morning.
Wow.
And in 10 degrees, I love it, because through breathing and through mindfulness, you can really accept that it is cold and let your body just respond to it. And it will respond in a really good way if you allow it. If you don't get in the way of it and go, oh shit, this is freezing, you just go with the experience, your body will respond to anything you want it to respond to in a good way if you allow it to.
Yeah, Wim Hof first caught my attention when I found out he climbed Everest in shorts.
Yeah.
And did he have shoes? I think he had shoes.
He had shoes, yeah.
Yeah, but just shorts and a no shirt even.
Yeah.
And he did it a couple of times, and then scientists followed him around thinking, no. And then he revealed everything he does. So if my dummy mind relates that to the time that, a bottle was to fall off the table, he just go bang. Or those times where you have to, it's not even you. When you look back at those times, you go, how did I do that so quickly? And how did I achieve such
enormity
in that split-second moment? It's beyond your own brain for a start. You just
yeah. And I guess that's the thing about what we have now in society is two things. One, we've got a mass amount of external influence constantly coming into our experience, social media, all that sort of stuff. Two, you've got people like Wim Hof coming through that is now really demonstrating that the internal part of us, the absolute essence of a human being, has incredible potential to open up doors of, walking up Everest in a pair of board shorts is ridiculous, but he's proving that can be done with simple breathing methods, etc., that people need to focus on. Yet in society now, we're getting pulled away from ourselves based on what social media is doing, which is some ways is brilliant, but other ways it can be so distracting that people's attention is so distracted that no wonder we get anxious.
Super distracted. Super. Can't read a book anymore.
Yeah.
I've got 7 half-read books.
Yeah.
Someone else put it in, and I read it on social media. How ridiculous. That, I don't even get through news articles completely. It's like
Probably
a 6-minute cycle. Yeah. So, okay, now, Wim Hof's style is to be up in that zone so that you're
activating.
Doing this. But from what I see about your style is the... Please explain how... Okay.
So we still go there. We still go into sympathetic. So with my breath training program that I run for athletes, for business people, for surfers, I work with a lot of elite people. And what they do, it's challenging the system with activity that is similar to what they go through. So let's say a surfer, a big wave surfer. They're going to go through some pretty challenging moments both on top of the ocean and underneath when they get wiped out. So we focus on, part of the session is to focus on, okay, let's build your capacity to be able to cope with that extreme experience of wiping out, being held underwater, holding your breath with a high heart rate. So we do training programs that are based around that principle. We need to get an individual more comfortable, more adapted to high levels of stress, needing to hold your breath, needing then to reset so that the next wave doesn't completely destroy you. So we still go to that high level, but then, you're right, we then take them into a very deep parasympathetic meditative state that allows their brainwave pattern to drop to theta, almost delta, flatline, breathing rate to drop to 1 or 2 breaths per minute with no effort whatsoever. And to get that to happen by doing activity that's actually on an expired breath. So breathe air out your lungs and then go underwater, and then we do activity with that. So we haven't got much oxygen in the lungs. We're getting the body to kick in a reflex that allows the body to actually access oxygen from organs, from muscle, that then changes the state of that person's nervous system into what's called a parasympathetic, which is really calming, really relaxing, and then build that capacity with fairly intensive activity over time so that they stay calm on the inside, though the outside is very stressful, like a wipeout.
So that's similar to what I learnt in yoga in 1997.
Okay.
Right, when I first was shown yoga, and I was that kid from Logan going, man. But then I couldn't believe when they were teaching it's all about that space between the out breath and the in. Like, concentrate on that.
Yes.
And say doing the downward dog where your spine or, is folding down, that cool bit where you breathe out, you just feel everything just go click.
Yeah.
Like dropping down.
It's powerful. So the out breath is where relaxation occurs. And the more that you tune into it, the more that you can access that realm.
How do you... Okay, this is... first of all, what you're just speaking about, for anyone listening, there's a video of Mick Fanning, who you trained